Ah, caught us at the perfect time. It's the shark scale. Today's movie is Red Water. It's got a shark in it, and that's about all I can say about the movie. Let's just get right into it.
So when it comes to the plot of this movie, it stars a fisherman named John, who is a former oiler. After some financial trouble, he decides to take on a gig with his ex-wife and friend that involves him going to an oil rig in some river in Louisiana. It just so happens it's ever so convenient that a bull shark shows up in the same river, and kills a few people, I might add. On top of this, there are some thugs that are diving for stolen goods that have been dumped into the same river. And well, all three of the parties meet up at the oil rig. The plot in this movie is a little too convenient for its own good, and is honestly pretty damn stupid. There's a number of plot holes that really just go unaddressed, like, why is the shark here? How did it get here? What was dropped in the lake? What goods were dropped in the lake? Like, why did it have to be by the oil rig? Why did the sheriff let them go to begin with? The characters are horribly dull and do nothing interesting. The thugs are just ridiculously one-dimensional and are just not good in the slightest. The plot of the movie left me yawning more than actually, engaging me, which is never a good thing. There's no resolution to a few plot points either, which is just more lazy than anything else. I think one of my bigger problems with the movie is that the shark really is not the centerpiece. It has the stupid plot first and foremost, and the shark is like a supporting character or a background part of the movie, which for a shark movie, that's just not good. The movie tries to focus on the characters and the scheming rather than the shark. Now, when it comes to the shark and how frequent it is on screen, it is relatively under average, I'd say. It's not on screen a lot, but it's not to the point where it's barely in the movie. It shows up in the first half a few times, but it's pretty inconsistent. At the end of the movie, or at least the last 15 minutes or so, it is in it fully. So while it is there the whole time at the end, I would have preferred that it showed up in the middle more, as during the middle it was barely present, and that was one of the reasons that I was yawning. Luckily, when it does show up, it does kill a few people. These are about what you would expect from an early 2000s shark movie in terms of kills. There's just not that much going on here for them. It just kind of swoops up on the person and eats them. For the early 2000s, it was not awful, but it wasn't anything special either. I'd say it was rather generic, maybe even a bit uninspired, but still average. The best kill was probably the last one when they showed the shark just chowing down on someone. That was alright. The kills were nothing special though, that's for sure. The shark itself looked pretty standard for the early 2000s and just didn't do anything special. It was just kind of there. I guess the next part of the movie to go over is the acting, which there is arguably just too much of. Too much acting, not enough shark. But how is that acting? It's very hit and miss, to be honest, and honestly, all the actors are on varying levels of bad. The main guy in the movie is actually decent, I'd say. He's the one that tries really more than anyone else. The thugs in this movie are just straight up bad in terms of acting and have a few parts that are just borderline funny because the acting is so piss poor. The rest of the supporting cast just fluctuates between questionable to just awful. There really was not anyone else in this movie that was even alright, and it helped add boredom. It really did. Really, if I could describe the movie in one word, it would be boredom. This movie did not do much to excite me in the slightest. I don't have all that much to say about this movie because there really just isn't that much to say. The plot is stupid. It's just really out there on the stupid level. It's inconsistent in terms of acting. The shark isn't the main focal point of the movie, and when it shows up, it really doesn't do anything special. That's if it even decides to show up, which it doesn't for a majority of the movie. It has one or two good scenes to it, but by and large, I was tucking myself into bed while watching this movie because of how dull it was. The movie isn't worth watching. I can't imagine many people enjoying this movie back when it aired on TV in 2003. I really just don't see it. I was like, this is just not exciting at all. It does nothing interesting or of note and is about as generic as you would expect. Even the title of the movie is super generic. Red Water? Really? That's the best you could come up with? Maybe the way the shark died was interesting with the oil pump. Oops, spoilers. Oh well, the shark dies at the end, and the movie sucks, so the end. Regardless, this is the worst type of movie, where it's just bad. It's not entertaining, it's not so bad it's good, it's not funny because it's bad, it's just boring. It's the boring kind of bad, the uninteresting bad, where I wish I was watching a much better shark movie. I didn't like the movie, I felt sleepy throughout it, and I really wished I'd picked a different movie. Overall, this movie gets a solid 1 out of 5 on the shark scale, and is shark crap. It's just a waste of time, really. It's not worth anyone's time. I kind of wish I got my time back too, but hey, better me than you. So, there's that. So that's it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed this video, I'll see you on some more shark videos. You could sub, comment, all that great stuff. Don't watch this movie. Have a great Christmas.